Wish upon a Christmas star. A winter getaway romance. Written by Susanne Ash. Please like and subscribe. Chapter 1. Naomi. The GPS loses signal exactly 3 miles before Xavier House, which feels about right for how this month is going. I pull my rental car onto the shoulder of the narrow mountain road, gripping the steering wheel harder than necessary. Through the windshield, Juniper Falls spreads below me like something out of a holiday catalog. The town is full of evergreens and church steeples and what looks suspiciously like twinkle lights already strung across Main Street. Even from up here, I can see wreaths on the lampposts. Of course there are wreaths. This is fine, I mutter, jabbing at my phone screen. No signal. This is totally fine. It's not. Nothing about the last 2 weeks has been okay, starting with the moment I told the Hendricks Group, in front of 12 people and a speakerphone connection to their CEO, that their rebrand concept was creatively bankrupt and insulting to their customer base. I wasn't wrong. But I also wasn't diplomatic. My boss's voice still echoes in my head, "Take December off, Naomi." That's not a suggestion. So here I am, exiled to a mountain town that apparently believes Christmas starts before Thanksgiving, when all I want is silence, Wi-Fi, and absolutely zero holiday cheer. I ease back onto the road, following the hand-painted signs that promise that Xavier House is only a mile away. The Victorian mansion appears around the next curve, 3 stories of gingerbread trim and wraparound porches, nestled against a backdrop of pine trees heavy with yesterday's snow. It's objectively beautiful. It's also wrapped in enough white lights to guide ships to harbor. My heart sinks. The gravel drive crunches under my tires as I park near the front steps. Before I can grab my suitcase, the front door swings open and a woman in her early 40s steps out, blonde hair caught up in a messy bun, wearing a chunky cardigan that probably cost less than my scarf. "You must be Naomi." Her smile could power those twinkle lights. "I'm Jory Lane. Welcome to Xavier House." I force my own smile into place. "Thank you for accommodating the last-minute booking." "Oh, we're so glad to have you." She moves to help with my luggage before I can protest, grabbing my smaller bag with easy competence. December is my favorite time of year here. The whole town just lights up. I noticed. I'm trying very hard not to hold it against her. The interior of Xavier House is exactly what I feared. It's warm, inviting, and absolutely drowning in Christmas spirit. A massive tree dominates the entrance hall, decorated with what looks like handmade ornaments. Garland drapes the staircase. The scent of cinnamon and pine hangs in the air like a dare. "We have cocoa and cookies in the parlor every evening at 7, Jory says, leading me toward a gleaming wooden staircase. "And tomorrow morning, we're offering a wreath-making workshop in the dining room if you're interested." I'm actually hoping for a quiet stay. I keep my voice pleasant but firm. Just some time to decompress. Of course, of course." She glances back with understanding that feels a little too knowing. "You mentioned in your booking that you needed good Wi-Fi?" "I do." "Well." She pauses on the landing, and something in her expression shifts to apologetic. "I should probably mention that our internet can be a bit temperamental. Especially when it snows. Something about the mountain and the old wiring and... well, it's a whole thing." "Perfect." "Of course it is. But the Rose Room has the strongest signal," she continues quickly. "And it's at the back of the house, very quiet. You'll barely hear the other guests." "Other guests?" "Right. Because I'm not getting the place to myself." She opens a door at the end of the second-floor hallway, and despite my determination to stay unimpressed, I have to admit the room is lovely. A 4-poster bed with a wedding ring quilt, a writing desk positioned near tall windows overlooking snow-dusted pines, and mercifully, only minimal Christmas decoration. Just a small wreath on the wall and a trio of pillar candles on the mantel. "Breakfast is from 7 to 9, Jory says, setting my bag on the luggage rack. "But if you're not a morning person, I'm happy to save you something. I'm usually up early." Working by 6, actually, but that's not happening this month. My laptop is staying closed. Doctor's orders. Well, boss's orders, but my physician agreed with distressing enthusiasm. Jory lingers in the doorway, and I recognize the look. It's the same one my sister gave me when I canceled Thanksgiving. The one that says, I see you're struggling and I want to help but I don't know how. The town's Christmas market opens tomorrow, she offers gently. It's down in the square. Very low-key, lots of local crafts. Sometimes a change of scenery helps when you're trying to think through things. I don't bother asking how she knows I'm trying to think through things. Small-town innkeepers probably have the same radar as therapists. I'll keep that in mind. Thank you. She takes the hint, backing into the hallway. Well, I'll let you get settled. But Naomi? She pauses. I know December can be hard for a lot of people. If you need anything, even just someone to talk to, my door's always open. The kindness in her voice makes my throat tight. I'm not used to strangers being kind without wanting something in return. Thank you, I say again, softer this time. When she's gone, I sink onto the edge of the bed and finally let my professional smile drop. My reflection stares back at me from the mirror above the dresser. The sleek black bob that needs a trim, the designer coat that cost too much, and the shadows under my eyes that concealer can't quite hide anymore. I look exactly like what I am. A woman running away from her life, hiding in a mountain town full of holiday magic. Through the window, those twinkle lights mock me from Main Street below. 1 month, I whisper to the empty room. You can survive 1 month of aggressive cheerfulness. My phone buzzes. A text from my boss. Enjoy the time away. And Naomi? Please actually turn off your phone. I stare at the message for a long moment, then deliberately set my phone face down on the nightstand. Outside, snow begins to fall in fat, lazy flakes. The Christmas wreaths sway in the breeze. Somewhere in town, someone is probably singing carols. I pull the curtains closed and hope that quiet actually means quiet in Juniper Falls. Something tells me I'm not going to be that lucky. The next morning, I wake to sunlight streaming through a gap in the curtains and the distinct sound of Christmas carols drifting up from Main Street. Of course. I check my phone out of habit. It's 8:47 a.m. and I have 2 bars of signal, and 17 unread emails I'm absolutely not going to open. My fingers hover over the screen before I force myself to set it down. Turn off your phone, my boss said. I compromise by leaving it on the nightstand. Downstairs, the dining room smells like coffee and something cinnamon-based. A handful of other guests cluster around the breakfast buffet. There's a retired couple cooing over the Christmas tree, a family with 2 kids already hyped up on sugar. Jory moves between them with a coffee pot and that same warm smile from yesterday. I grab coffee, a cranberry muffin, and retreat to a corner table with a clear view of the exit. First time in Juniper Falls? The older woman beams at me from across the room. Yes. I take a pointed sip of coffee, hoping my body language reads as please don't talk to me. Oh, you'll love the Christmas market. Opens at 10. My husband and I come every year just for. That sounds nice. I stand abruptly, wrapping the muffin in a napkin. Excuse me. Jory catches my eye as I head for the door, and I feel a flash of guilt at her knowing look. But I didn't come here to make friends. I came here to hide. The cold air hits me like a slap when I step outside. I pull my wool coat tighter and head down the front steps, boots crunching on the gravel drive. The main road into town is a 10-minute walk according to the map Jory left in my room, and walking sounds better than sitting in that too cheerful dining room. Main Street unfolds like every small-town cliché I've ever seen. Brick storefronts with hand-painted signs. A diner with gingham curtains. The general store's windows full of local honey and jam. And Christmas decorations are everywhere. The market is already set up in the town square. White tents bloom like mushrooms around a massive evergreen tree. At the center is the wishing tree, according to the banner strung overhead. Vendors arrange their wares. There's handmade soaps, knitted scarves, and jars of preserves tied with ribbon. I should turn around. Go back to Xavier House, lock myself in the rose room, and commit to my original plan of sleeping through December. Instead, I find myself drifting closer, drawn by the smell of roasting chestnuts and the cheerful chaos of setup. A woman in a flower shop apron adjusts a display of wreaths. A teenager wrestles with a folding table. An older woman with silver hair and a knowing smile watches the whole scene like she's conducting an orchestra. I'm carefully skirting the edge of the square when someone backs directly into me. The impact sends us both stumbling. I catch myself on a tent pole. He's not so lucky. A wooden crate flies from his hands, scattering its contents across the snowy ground. I'm so sorry. His voice is warm, genuinely apologetic. I didn't see, are you okay? I look up, ready to brush off the apology and keep walking. Then I actually see him. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Dark blonde hair and brown eyes that crinkle with immediate concern. Wearing a flannel shirt and jeans dusted with what looks like sawdust, work boots unlaced at the top. He's exactly the kind of handsome that would make my sister swoon. The rugged, wholesome, probably owns a cabin type. I am decidedly not swooning. I'm fine. I step back, brushing snow from my coat. You should watch where you're going. You're absolutely right. He's already crouching to gather the scattered wooden ornaments that had flown from the books. They look hand-carved, each one different. A star, a snowflake, a tiny detailed cabin. These things make me blind sometimes. I get focused on not dropping them and forget there are actual people in the world. Despite myself, I crouch to help, picking up a carved reindeer with delicate antlers. The craftsmanship is remarkable. The smooth, warm wood that feels alive in my hands. Did you make these? The question slips out before I can stop it. Guilty. He grins, and it transforms his whole face. Mason Reed. I run Reed and Timber, the woodworking shop just off Main Street. He extends his hand. I shake it briefly, trying to ignore how warm and solid it feels. Naomi. Just Naomi? His eyes dance with gentle teasing. Blake. Naomi Blake. I set the reindeer back in the crate, brushing my hands together. I should. First time at our Christmas market? He's repacking the ornaments with careful attention, like each one matters. Is it that obvious I'm not local? The boots gave you away. He nods at my designer leather boots, definitely not made for snow. Also, I know pretty much everyone in town, and I'd remember meeting you. There's nothing sleazy in the way he says it, just friendly observation. Which somehow makes it worse. I don't want friendly. Friendly leads to conversation, which leads to connection, which leads to disappointment. Well, enjoy your market. I step back, ready to make my escape. Wait, he pulls a carved ornament from the crate, a simple star with a hole drilled through the top for hanging. Consider it an apology for nearly knocking you over. I stare at the star, then at him. I don't need. Please, take it. Otherwise I'll feel terrible all day, and my sister says I'm unbearable when I feel guilty. I take the star, just to end the conversation. Thank you. You should hang it on the wishing tree. He nods toward the evergreen in the center of the square. Write your Christmas wish on it first. It's a tradition around here. I don't have a Christmas wish. He looks surprised. Everyone has a Christmas wish. Not everyone believes in wishes. He studies me for a moment, and I fight the urge to squirm under his gaze. Well, the offer stands. The tree's there all month if you change your mind. I won't. We'll see. He hoists the crate, muscles flexing under his flannel. Welcome to Juniper Falls, Naomi Blake. Something tells me you're going to like it here. I watch him walk away toward his booth, that easy confidence in every step. The silver-haired woman I noticed earlier materializes beside me, seemingly out of nowhere. That's Mason Reed, she says, like I asked. Lovely boy. Heart of gold. Makes the most beautiful pieces. furniture, ornaments, whatever you can imagine. I'm sure he's very talented. I turn to leave. She smiles at me with a warmth that feels intrusive. I'm Hazel Elliott, dear. If you need anything while you're here. I'm just here for quiet. No wishes, no Christmas magic, just quiet. Hazel's smile doesn't falter. Well, quiet we can certainly provide. Though I find Juniper Falls has a way of giving people what they need, rather than what they ask for.
Chapter 2. Mason. I'm arranging wooden ornaments on my booth table when I spot her again. The woman from yesterday, Naomi Blake, walks through the square like she's trying very hard to be invisible. It's not working. In her sleek black coat and designer boots, she stands out like a cardinal in snow. She's circling the wishing tree now, hands shoved in her pockets, examining it like it's a museum exhibit she's being forced to appreciate. The morning sun catches her sleek black hair, and even from here I can see the skeptical set of her mouth. Something about that skepticism bothers me more than it should. I grab the ornament I've been working on, a delicate snowflake that still needs its edges refined, and head toward the tree, arriving just as she reaches out to touch one of the glass baubles. Beautiful, isn't it? I say. She startles, pulling her hand back. Do you make a habit of sneaking up on people? Only people who look like they're about to critique our town's most beloved tradition. I pull out my pocket knife and continue working the snowflake's edges. What's the verdict? On what? The tree. I saw that look. You're judging it. Her lips twitch into something that's almost a smile. I wasn't judging. I was observing. And it's very. She gestures vaguely. Festive. Festive. I blow a curl of wood shaving off the snowflake. That's like calling the Grand Canyon a hole. It's a tree with wishes written on it. I'm not sure what else you want me to say. You could say it's magical. Or meaningful. Or that it represents the hopes and dreams of an entire community coming together. I'm half teasing, but only half. The wishing tree matters to this town. To me. It's magical, meaningful hopes and dreams, she deadpans. This time I catch the full smile before she hides it. Progress. You still have the star I gave you? Her hand moves to her pocket instinctively before she catches herself. Maybe. Did you write your wish? I told you, I don't have a wish. I study her for a moment. The defensive posture, the careful distance she keeps, the way her eyes won't quite meet mine. She reminds me of the feral cat that used to live behind my workshop, all bristle and suspicion, convinced everyone wanted to hurt it. I don't believe you. Excuse me? Everyone has a wish. Even people who pretend they don't. I tuck the snowflake and knife back in my pocket. Tell you what, I'll make you a deal. I don't want a deal. Write one wish. Just one. Hang it on the tree. I nod toward her pocket. Use the star I gave you yesterday. If nothing happens by next weekend's holiday market, I promise I won't bother you about holiday cheer for the rest of your stay. That's not how wishes work. How would you know? You don't believe in them. She opens her mouth, closes it. I hide my smile. But if something does happen, I continue, you have to admit that maybe, possibly, Juniper Falls Christmas magic is real. This is ridiculous. Probably. I cross my arms. But what do you have to lose? Either you get proof you're right and I leave you alone, or something wonderful happens and you get a story to tell. I think you're absolutely right, dear. We both turn. Hazel Elliott stands there, bundled in a purple coat with a silk scarf, looking like she materialized out of the snow itself. Hazel. I should have known she'd appear. She has a sixth sense for meddling opportunities. Mason is quite correct. Hazel beams at Naomi. One wish. Very simple. And if nothing happens, well, you'll have the satisfaction of being right. Don't you city folk love being right? Naomi's eyes narrow. Did you two plan this? Plan what? Hazel's innocence would convince a jury. I just met him yesterday. Coincidence, then. Hazel pulls a tin from her pocket, mints, always mints with her. Though I find coincidences are rarely accidental in Juniper Falls. Particularly at Christmas. Naomi looks between us, clearly trying to figure out if we're serious. I keep my expression neutral. This is peer pressure, she finally says. It's a friendly wager, I correct. It's an opportunity, Hazel adds. Naomi sighs, the sound of someone recognizing a losing battle. Fine. One wish. But when nothing happens, you both have to admit this whole thing is just a charming small-town placebo effect. Deal. I wait as she pulls the wooden star from her pocket. She turns it over in her hands. What am I supposed to write with? I hadn't thought that far ahead. We could. Oh, I have just the thing. Hazel's already digging in her enormous purse. Where did I put? She pulls out a marker. Here we are. Naomi stares at the marker. This feels very permanent. Wishes should be permanent, I say. Otherwise they're just daydreams. She uncaps the marker, hovering over the wood. For a moment I think she's actually going to write something meaningful. Then her mouth curves into something wicked. She scrawls 2 words across the ornament, surprise me. There. She caps the marker and hands it back to Hazel. My wish. I take the ornament, reading it. This isn't a real wish. Sure it is. I wish to be surprised. Very specific. It's a loophole. It's what I wished for. She crosses her arms. You said one wish. That's my wish. Hazel laughs, bright and delighted. Oh, I like you. Mason, she's clever. She's impossible, I mutter, but I'm fighting a smile. So we have a deal? Naomi raises an eyebrow. You'll leave me alone about Christmas if nothing surprises me? I should agree. Should let her have her loophole and move on. But something about the challenge in her eyes, the way she's so determined to not believe in anything magical, makes me want to prove her wrong. Deal. I hold out my hand. She shakes it, firm and quick. Her hand is cold, even through the leather gloves. Where should I hang it? She asks, gesturing at the tree. Wherever you want. Part of the tradition is finding the right spot for your wish. She chooses a branch near the back, tucking the ornament between 2 glass ones. It looks good there. The simple wood provides a contrast to the sparkle around it. Done. She steps back, brushing her hands together. Now if you'll excuse me, I have a very important appointment with a quiet room and no Christmas carols. She's already walking away when Hazel calls after her, see you at Cocoa Night at the inn, dear. Probably not. Naomi doesn't look back. We watch her retreat across the square, straight-backed and determined. That one's running from something, Hazel observes. Seems like it. And you're going to help her stop running. I glance at Hazel. Am I? Oh, absolutely. She pats my arm. Why else would you make that ridiculous wager? You're a fixer, Mason Reed. Always have been. And that girl needs someone who believes in magic enough for both of them. She drifts away before I can argue, leaving me standing by the wishing tree with sawdust on my hands and the distinct feeling I've just been outmaneuvered. I find Naomi's ornament again, reading those 2 words. Surprise me. Challenge accepted, I murmur. I pull out my phone and text Jake Merrick. Need a favor. Can you find me a reason to stop by Xavier House? Something that won't seem obvious. His reply is instant. What are you planning? Keeping a promise. This about the city girl staying at Jory's place? Word travels fast in Juniper Falls. Maybe. 3 dots appear. Pretty sure Jory mentioned needing that dining table leg repaired. I'll tell her you're the guy for the job. Perfect. Thanks. I pocket my phone and look back at the tree, at that simple wooden ornament with its impossible wish. Naomi Blake wants to be surprised? I'm going to make sure Juniper Falls gives her exactly what she asked for.
Chapter 3. Naomi. I'm 3 chapters into a thriller that's failing to hold my attention when someone knocks on my door. Naomi? Jory's voice carries through the wood. I hate to bother you, but I could really use your help. I set the book down with a sigh. So much for my quiet afternoon. When I open the door, Jory stands there with flour dusting her apron and an apologetic smile. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I'm testing new hot cocoa recipes for the holiday season and I desperately need an honest opinion. My regular taste testers are all at the church decorating committee. I'm not really a cocoa person. Please? She clasps her hands together. It'll take 10 minutes, tops. And if you hate them all, I need to know that too. I can't serve terrible cocoa to my guests. There's something about the genuine worry in her eyes that makes it impossible to say no. This must be how she runs a successful inn. Weaponized kindness. 10 minutes, I agree. You're a lifesaver. She's already heading down the hallway. Come down to the kitchen whenever you're ready. No rush. I consider changing out of my leggings and oversized sweater, then decide against it. It's just cocoa tasting, not a social event. The kitchen at Xavier House is exactly what you'd expect. All copper pots and butcher block counters, with herbs drying from ceiling hooks and a massive farmhouse table that probably seats 12. 3 mugs wait on the counter, each with a number card propped beside it. Okay, so this first one is my classic recipe. Jory slides a mug toward me. Dark chocolate, hint of cinnamon, vanilla bean. I take a sip. It's actually really good. Rich and smooth, not too sweet. It's nice, I admit. Nice. She wrinkles her nose. That's polite person speak for mediocre. No, I mean it's good. Really good. Her face brightens. Okay, good. Now try this one. I added peppermint and a touch of cayenne. I'm midway through the second mug when I hear male voices from the front of the house. Jory glances toward the doorway. Oh, that must be Mason. He's here to fix the dining table leg. One of my guests has been wobbling through breakfast all week. She calls out, in the kitchen. My stomach does something uncomfortable. Of course he's here. Mason appears in the doorway, toolbox in hand, and stops short when he sees me. Those brown eyes widen slightly before his mouth curves into a smile. Naomi. Fancy meeting you here. I live here. Temporarily. Right. He sets his toolbox down. Jory, I brought a few replacement options for that leg. Want to take a look? In a minute. First, you have to settle a debate. Jory gestures to the mugs. Classic versus peppermint cayenne. Which would you serve at a Holiday Inn? Is this a trap? Mason asks. Possibly. He picks up the classic, takes a thoughtful sip. Then tries the peppermint. I try not to watch the way his throat moves when he swallows, or how sawdust still clings to his flannel sleeve. Classic, he says finally. The peppermint's good, but the classic feels like coming home. Jory beams. See? That's what I thought, but everyone at church keeps pushing for something innovative. She makes air quotes around the word. Sometimes traditional is traditional for a reason. You could offer both, I hear myself say. Classic as the default, peppermint as a special option. Gives people choice without abandoning what works. They both look at me. What? I shift uncomfortably. It's basic marketing strategy. It's brilliant, Jory says. Why didn't I think of that? Because you're too close to it. I wrap my hands around the mug of classic cocoa. Sometimes you need outside perspective. Speaking of perspective, Hazel Elliott materializes in the kitchen doorway like she's been summoned by a spell. She's carrying a basket covered with a red checkered cloth. I brought those tea cookies you asked for, Jory. Fresh from the oven. Hazel. Perfect timing. Jory takes the basket. Mason's here to fix the table, and Naomi's been helping me with cocoa decisions. How lovely. Hazel's eyes sparkle with that too knowing look I'm starting to recognize. Mason, dear, you have sawdust in your hair. He reaches up self-consciously, brushing at his hair. Occupational hazard. And Naomi, you have chocolate on your lip. I swipe at my mouth quickly, heat rising to my cheeks. Mason's watching me with barely concealed amusement. Well, I'll just put these on a serving platter and get out of your way, Hazel says, moving through the kitchen with practiced ease. Though Mason, before you start on that table leg, you should really try Jory's classic cocoa. It's perfection. I just did. Have another cup. You look cold. Before he can protest, Hazel's pouring him a fresh mug and pressing it into his hands. Then she's somehow maneuvering us both toward the kitchen table, and I find myself sitting across from Mason Reed with a cup of cocoa I didn't ask for, in a situation that feels suspiciously orchestrated. There now, Hazel says, settling into a chair herself. Isn't this nice? Nothing like warm cocoa and good company on a December afternoon. Mason catches my eye, and I see the same realization there. We've been managed. But before either of us can escape, Jory joins us with her own mug, and suddenly it's an actual gathering. So Naomi, Hazel says, what brings you to Juniper Falls? Aside from our charming inn and excellent cocoa? Mandatory vacation. The words come out sharper than I intend. Ah. Hazel's expression softens with understanding. Sometimes rest finds us whether we want it or not. Something like that. And what do you do, dear? When you're not on mandatory vacation? Corporate marketing. I take a long sip of cocoa to avoid elaborating. How fascinating. Hazel turns to Mason. And you make such beautiful things with your hands. Naomi creates with her mind. Quite complimentary, don't you think? Mason chokes slightly on his cocoa. Hazel, Jory says, but she's fighting a smile. What? I'm simply making conversation. Hazel's innocence is about as genuine as artificial sweetener. I set my mug down firmly. Thank you for the cocoa, Jory. It's excellent. Both versions. But I should get back to my book. Of course. Jory doesn't try to stop me, but something in her expression looks pleased. Thanks for your help. I'm halfway to the door when Mason speaks. Naomi? I turn reluctantly. See you at the market tomorrow? His smile is warm, genuine. If nothing else, you can tell me if my booth is up to your professional marketing standards. Despite myself, my mouth twitches. I'll try to contain my critique. Appreciated. I escape to my room, closing the door firmly behind me. Through the window, I can see the wishing tree in the distance, that stupid wooden star hanging among the glass ornaments. Surprise me, I wrote. I had the distinct feeling Juniper Falls is taking that wish entirely too seriously. And the most annoying part? I'm not entirely sure I mind. The next morning, I wake with actual plans for the first time since arriving in Juniper Falls. Avoid the dining room crowd, grab coffee from town, and find a quiet spot to do absolutely nothing. The universe has other ideas. I'm halfway across the town square, takeout cup in hand, when a child's voice pierces the morning air. It's broken. It's ruined. I look up to find a little girl, maybe 7 or 8, standing at Mason's booth with tears streaming down her face. She's holding something small and wooden, and Mason is crouching in front of her, his expression genuinely distressed. Hey, it's okay, he's saying. We can fix it. I promise. But the wings came off. She holds up what I now recognize as a small carved bird, one delicate wing dangling by a splinter. I was trying to paint it and it just broke. I should keep walking. This isn't my problem. I don't even like Christmas markets. But something about the devastation on that little face makes my feet stop. Let me see, I hear myself say. They both look up. Mason with surprise, the girl with watery hope. I set my coffee down and examine the bird. The wing isn't broken off completely, just separated at the joint. Do you have wood glue? I ask Mason. Yeah, but. And something to hold it in place while it dries. A small clamp or even just some string? He's already reaching under his booth table. I have both. The girl watches with wide eyes as I carefully apply a thin line of glue to the wing joint. Mason hands me a tiny clamp without my having to ask, and I secure it gently. There, I say. It needs to dry for at least an hour, but it should be good as new. Maybe even stronger than before. Really? The girl's whole face lights up. Really? Breaks can be fixed. You just need patience and the right tools. Mason's looking at me with an expression I can't quite read. I ignore him, focusing on the girl. What's your name? Emma. Well, Emma, while your bird is drying, maybe you could work on something else? Give it time to heal properly. Like what? Mason clears his throat. I have some pine cone ornaments that need ribbons. Think you could help me with that? Yes. Emma bounces on her toes, crisis forgotten. He sets her up with a basket of pine cones, a spool of thin red ribbon, and safety scissors. She settles onto a small stool behind the booth, humming to herself. Thank you, Mason says quietly. It was nothing. I pick up my coffee, ready to leave. It wasn't nothing. You made her whole day. He pauses. You smiled at her. So? So you've been scowling since you got to Juniper Falls. It's nice to see evidence you're capable of other expressions. Heat creeps up my neck. I don't scowl. You absolutely scowl. But his tone is teasing, warm. Though for the record, the smile's better. I don't know what to say to that. Behind us, Emma starts singing Jingle Bells off key. I should go, I manage. Wait. He reaches under the booth again and pulls out a small carved fox, no bigger than my palm. For you. I don't need. Consider it payment. For the bird rescue. He presses it into my hand before I can protest. The wood is smooth and warm, the fox's expression somehow both alert and peaceful. I made a batch of woodland creatures last week. That one reminded me of you. A fox? Smart. Wary. Beautiful when you let your guard down. My breath catches. Mason. Someone calls from across the square. Do you have any more of those snowflake ornaments? The moment breaks. He glances over his shoulder, then back at me. Duty calls. But Naomi? He waits until I meet his eyes. Thanks. Really? I nod, clutching the fox, and finally make my escape. I'm 3 blocks away before I realize I'm still smiling. And I'm halfway back to Xavier House before I notice that the fox fits perfectly in my palm, like it was carved specifically for my hand. Like Mason knew exactly what size it should be. Beautiful when you let your guard down. I look down at the little carved creature. Its expression is peaceful, trusting. This is a problem, I tell the fox. It doesn't argue.
Chapter 4. Mason. The dining room table leg is solid, but when Jory mentions a squeaky hinge on the front gate, I volunteer before she can finish the sentence. You're a lifesaver, she says, but there's a knowing glint in her eye that makes me wonder how much Jake told her. Just doing my job. She hands me her toolbox. And if you happen to run into Naomi while you're here, well, that's just coincidence. Jory. She's in the parlor. Reading. Has been for an hour. She pats my arm. The gate's squeaking terribly. Take your time fixing it. I shake my head but can't fight the smile. The front gate does squeak. It's loud enough to announce my arrival. Through the parlor window, I see Naomi look up from her book and spot me. I'm working the hinge free when she appears on the porch, wrapped in that expensive coat, arms crossed. Let me guess. Another repair? Gate hinge. I hold up the rusted piece. Been squeaking for weeks, apparently. I put the fox on my windowsill. My hand's still on the bolt. Yeah, they look good together. She says it quietly, like the admission costs her something. I glance up at her. I'm glad. Are you working on anything new? She asks after a moment. More ornaments? This is my opening. I set down the wrench. Actually, I'm finishing something special. The star topper for the wishing tree. I wipe my hands on my jeans. It's at my workshop. Would you want to see it? I don't know anything about woodworking. You don't have to. You just have to look at it. I stand, brushing sawdust from my knees. Come on. It's a 5-minute walk. If you hate it, I'll bring you right back. She studies me, clearly weighing her options. Then, to my surprise, fine. But only because I'm bored. I'll take it. My workshop sits behind my house, a converted barn that smells like pine and cedar and years of sawdust. I unlock the door and flip on the overhead lights, illuminating workbenches covered with tools, half-finished projects, and curls of wood shavings. Wow! Naomi steps inside slowly, taking it all in. This is a mess? Alive. She runs her hand along the workbench. It feels alive. Like everything in here is waiting to become something. The observation catches me off guard. Most people just see clutter. That's exactly what it is, I say quietly. I lead her to the back corner where the star waits on a padded work table, covered with a sheet. My heart's beating faster than it should be. I've shown my work to hundreds of people, but somehow her opinion matters more than it should. Close your eyes, I say. What? Why? Just trust me. She sighs but complies. I pull away the sheet, positioning the star to catch the lamplight just right. Okay. Open. She opens her eyes, and I watch her face transform. The star is 2 feet across, carved from maple and cherry wood, the different tones creating a subtle gradient from gold to deep red. But it's the details that make it special. Phrases are carved in delicate script around each point, wishes I've collected from the tree over the years. Hope. Love. Home. Peace. Belonging. Naomi steps closer, one hand reaching out before she catches herself. Mason. This is too much? Beautiful. Her voice is hushed. It's absolutely beautiful. Pride warms my chest. I started it last spring. Figured the wishing tree deserved something special for the top. Something that represented all the wishes it's held. She traces the air above the carved words, not quite touching. These are all real wishes? Every one. I asked Hannah, she started the tradition, if I could document some before they withered away. These are the ones that felt universal. The things everyone wishes for, whether they admit it or not. She traces the air above the words, reading each one softly. Hope. Love. Home. Peace. Belonging. She looks up at me. These are beautiful, Mason. The whole town is going to love this. I hope so. I run my hand along the edge of the star. I want it to mean something. To remind people why we do this every year. She's quiet for a long moment, still studying the star. Finally, she looks at me. Why do you care so much? About Christmas, about wishes, about all of this? The question hangs between us. I could deflect, make a joke, keep things surface level. Instead, I tell the truth. Because I didn't have it growing up. Her eyebrows lift slightly. What do you mean? I gesture to a stool. This might take a minute. She sits. I lean against the workbench, finding the words. My parents weren't bad people. They were overwhelmed. Dad worked 3 jobs, Mom was dealing with her own demons. Christmas was another day that required money and energy they didn't have. I pick up a piece of scrap wood, turning it over in my hands. No tree, no presents, no traditions. I'd go to school in January and listen to kids talk about their holidays, and I'd make up stories about mine. Invented elaborate family traditions that never happened. Mason. Her voice is soft. I'm not looking for sympathy. I set down the wood. When I got older, built this business and made a life for myself, I decided I'd create everything I'd missed. Not just for me, but for everyone. Because maybe someone else feels the way I did. Maybe they need to see that magic is possible, that traditions matter, that hoping for something doesn't make you foolish. I meet her eyes. That's why the wishing tree matters. Why Christmas matters. It's not about the presents or the decorations. It's about believing that good things can happen. That you're allowed to want them. She's staring at me with an expression I can't quite name. Then she stands, crossing the small space between us. I'm sorry you didn't have that, she says quietly. Kids should get to believe in magic. What about adults? Her smile is sad. Adults know better. Do they? I turn to face her fully. Or do they just forget how? We're standing close now. Close enough that I can see the flecks of darker blue in her eyes, smell the coffee on her breath, watch her pupils dilate slightly. Naomi. My voice comes out rougher than intended. Yes? Why did you really come to Juniper Falls? She swallows. I told you. Mandatory vacation. That's the what. I'm asking why. For a moment, I think she'll deflect again. Then her expression shifts, just slightly. Because I needed to stop. She says it simply, like it's both obvious and impossible. I forgot how to do that. How to just be. And are you? Stopping? Her smile is rueful. Trying to. It's harder than it should be. I reach out slowly, giving her time to pull away and tuck a strand of hair behind her ear. Maybe that's what Juniper Falls is for. Giving people permission to stop running. Her breath catches. We're close enough now that I can feel the warmth of her, see the rapid flutter of her pulse at her throat. Mason. The workshop door bangs open. Mason, dear, do you have any? Oh. Hazel stands in the doorway, a picture of theatrical surprise. I didn't realize you had company. How lovely. Naomi steps back so fast she nearly knocks over a stool. I close my eyes briefly, fighting between frustration and reluctant amusement. Hazel. What do you need? Ribbon. She's already bustling inside like she owns the place. For the church wreath project. Jory said you might have some extra from your ornament displays. It's in the supply cabinet. Third shelf. Wonderful. She's taking her time, examining the star, the workshop, us. This is beautiful, Mason. Your best work yet. Thank you. And Naomi, how lovely to see you getting out of Xavier House. Fresh air does wonders for the soul. I should get back. Naomi's already moving toward the door. Thank you for showing me the star. Wait, I'll walk you. No need. I remember the way. She's gone before I can argue, the door closing firmly behind her. Hazel watches her go, then turns to me with a knowing smile. Timing is everything, isn't it? Your timing is terrible. Or perfect, depending on perspective. She collects her ribbon with maddening slowness. That girl is scared, Mason. Scared of feeling things, scared of wanting things. You can't rush someone out of fear. I wasn't rushing. You were about to kiss her. I can't deny it. And if you had, Hazel continues gently, she would have panicked and pulled away. This way, she gets to sit with the almost. Wonder about it. Want it. She pats my arm. Patience, dear boy. Some things are worth the wait.
Chapter 5. Naomi. The lights flicker twice before they die completely. I'm in the parlor with 3 other guests. The retired couple from breakfast and a businessman who's been glued to his laptop since he arrived. We all freeze, waiting to see if the power will come back. It doesn't. Jory appears with candles and battery-operated lanterns, her face apologetic. I'm so sorry, everyone. The storm must have knocked out a transformer. The power company says it could be a few hours. Outside, wind howls through the pines and snow pelts the windows. We'll set up here in the parlor, Jory continues. It's the warmest room with the fireplace. The businessman looks pained. My phone's at 12%. There are books. I gesture to the shelves. Revolutionary technology. No charging required. Within 20 minutes, we're arranged around the fireplace with quilts and candles. Someone suggests charades, and despite myself, I join in. But as the evening wears on, the temperature drops. The fireplace can't keep up with the cold seeping through the old windows. Our breath starts to mist in the candlelight. Is it just me, the businessman says, or is it getting really cold? Jory's smile is strained. The furnace runs on electricity, but the fireplace should. It's trying, the retired man says diplomatically. The candles are burning lower too. This is going from cozy to concerning. Then headlights sweep across the windows. Special delivery. Mason pushes through the front door, arms loaded with equipment. Snow dusts his hair and shoulders. He's carrying 2 propane heaters and has a duffel bag slung over his shoulder. Mason Reed, you're a lifesaver. Jory rushes to help. Power's out at my place too. These are from the workshop. He sets down the heaters. I brought extra lanterns and hot coffee. Figured you'd need both. Within minutes, Mason has both heaters positioned and running, their warmth immediately noticeable. He distributes LED lanterns that fill the room with steady light. Oh, that's so much better, the retired woman sighs. Mason pours coffee from his thermos, making sure everyone's comfortable. His eyes find mine across the room. Doing okay? Better now. The room is already warming up. You didn't have to come out in this weather. Couldn't let you all freeze. He settles into an armchair. Besides, what else was I going to do? Sit alone in my workshop? Some people might call that peaceful. Some people are wrong. His smile is warm. This is better. The charades continue with Mason joining in. When it's my turn, I draw elf and freeze, mind blank. After painful attempts at miming short with pointy ears, someone finally guesses it. That was painful to watch, Mason says, grinning. Eventually the other guests head to bed, and Jory excuses herself. Suddenly it's just Mason and me in the flickering firelight. You're good at this, I say into the quiet. Charades? Community. Making people feel comfortable. Like everything's going to be okay even when the power's out and it's a blizzard outside. He shifts closer. It's not that hard. You just show up. It's harder than you think. I pull the quilt tighter. Showing up. Want to talk about it? I should deflect. But something about the darkness, the storm, the way he's looking at me makes the truth feel easier. Last Christmas Eve, I hear myself say, my boyfriend of 3 years broke up with me at his company party. In front of 50 people. Mason's expression darkens. Seriously? He said I'd become cold and distant. That he couldn't compete with my phone. I laugh hollowly. The worst part? He wasn't wrong. I didn't even realize what I'd become until he said it out loud in front of everyone. The fire pops, sending sparks up the chimney. Before that, Christmas used to be my favorite time of year. My family went all out. Decorating cookies, ice skating, elaborate gift exchanges. But after my parents divorced when I was 23, everything fractured. Mom remarried and moved to Arizona. Dad got bitter. My siblings took sides. I pull my knees up. Now the holidays are just awkward performances of whose turn it is to host, who's speaking to whom, forced smiles over turkey. So when Jeremy dumped me last Christmas Eve, it confirmed everything I already knew. The holidays aren't magical. They're just exhausting. Mason doesn't rush to respond. When he finally speaks, his voice is flat. Breaking up with someone at a party on Christmas Eve? That's not honesty, that's cruelty. A surprised laugh escapes me. That's your takeaway? He shifts to face me fully. And yeah, maybe you were working too much. But that's something you talk about, work on together. You don't humiliate someone and call it a favor. Something tight in my chest loosens. As for your family, that's not about Christmas. That's about people who forgot how to love each other through hard things. He pauses. But that doesn't mean you have to stop believing. That people can be kind. That you deserve all of it. My throat tightens. You don't know me well enough to say what I deserve. Don't I? His voice is soft. I know you helped a crying child fix her broken bird. I know you gave Jory honest feedback when you could have been polite. I know you're making the best of tonight instead of complaining. He reaches over and gently tugs the quilt higher on my shoulders. I know you're scared. But fear isn't the same as wisdom, Naomi. Sometimes the scary thing is exactly what we need. We sit there in the firelight, the propane heaters humming softly, something fragile and important building between us. I don't know how to do this, I whisper. Do what? Let someone in. Trust that it won't end badly. You don't have to trust me completely right now. Just trust me enough for tonight. He stands, offering his hand. Come on. Help me with the cocoa mugs in the kitchen. Jory's probably left a disaster. I take his hand, let him pull me up. His palm is warm, calloused, steady. He wasn't wrong. There are mugs scattered everywhere, cocoa powder is dusting every surface, and marshmallows are scattered around like tiny snowdrifts. He hands me a dish towel. I'll wash, you dry? There should be at least a little warm water left. We fall into easy rhythm. His hands in the soapy water, mine taking each clean mug. Outside, the wind howls, but in here it's quiet except for the soft splash of water and the clink of ceramic. Can I ask you something? I say after a few minutes. Sure. Why woodworking? How did you get into it? His hands still in the water. After high school, I needed a job. Found work at a furniture shop in Asheville. The owner, this old guy named Frank, took me under his wing. Taught me everything. His voice is soft with memory. Frank said wood had memory. That every piece came from something living, and if you respected that, listened to what it wanted to be, you could make something beautiful. That's lovely. Frank was kind. Closest thing to a mentor I ever had. He hands me another mug. He left me his tools when he died. That's how I started my own shop. I'm sorry you lost him. Me too. But I carry him with me every time I carve something. He glances at me. That's what traditions are, really. Ways of carrying people forward. Keeping them alive in what we do. I dry the mug slowly, thinking about that. About carrying people forward. About what I've been carrying and what I've been trying to forget. Mason's quiet for a moment. It's hard, rebuilding what's broken. But it's possible. If you wanted to. I don't know if I do. The admission surprises me. It's easier to just not engage. Easier isn't always better. Wow, fortune cookie wisdom. He flicks soapy water at me. Hey. I flick my towel at him. He retaliates with more water. I shriek, laughing, and suddenly we're having a full water fight in Jory's kitchen, soap bubbles flying, both of us laughing so hard we can barely breathe. I'm reaching for the spray nozzle when Mason catches my wrist, pulling me away from disaster. Truce, he gasps, still laughing. Truce before we flood the place and freeze to death? You started it. I did not. You absolutely did. We're standing very close now, both breathing hard, grins fading into something softer. His hand is still around my wrist, and I can feel his pulse. It's quick, matching mine. The laughter dies. The air between us shifts, charges. Naomi. My name is barely a whisper. I don't think. Don't plan. Don't weigh consequences. I kiss him. It's soft at first, tentative. A question more than a statement. His lips are warm and taste like the coffee he brought, and for a heartbeat he's perfectly still, surprised. Then his free hand comes up to cup my face, gentle and sure, and he's kissing me back. Really kissing me. The hand around my wrist slides up my arm to my waist, pulling me closer, and I make a small sound I don't recognize. Everything else falls away. The storm, the darkness, my fears, the year of running and hiding and pretending I'm fine. None of it matters except this moment. This connection. The way his thumb traces my cheekbone. The way he kisses me like I'm something precious he's been waiting for. When we finally break apart, we're both breathing hard. His forehead rests against mine, and I can feel his smile. I've wanted to do that since you scowled at me in the town square, he murmurs. I laugh softly, my hand still fisted in his flannel. I did not scowl. You absolutely scowled. He pulls back just enough to see my face, his expression tender, wondering. But I'm very glad you kissed me anyway. Me too. And I am. Terrified, but glad. More glad than I've been about anything in longer than I can remember. His thumb brushes my lower lip, and my breath catches. Naomi. Don't. I press my fingers to his lips, suddenly afraid of what he might say. What promises might form that I'm not ready for. Don't make this complicated yet. Can we just have this? Just tonight? For a moment I think he'll argue, push for more. But then he nods slowly, pressing a kiss to my fingertips. Just tonight, he agrees, his voice rough. We both know he's lying. We both know it's already more than that. The lights flicker once, twice, then surge back to life. The sudden brightness is jarring, exposing the soapy floor, the scattered mugs, the way we're still standing so close. Power's back, I say unnecessarily. Yeah. But neither of us moves. His hand is still on my waist, mine still twisted in his shirt. From somewhere upstairs, Jory calls out, "Thank goodness." I was starting to worry about the refrigerator. The spell breaks. Mason steps back, reluctance clear in every movement. He runs a hand through his hair, making it stand up. I should go. Let you get some sleep. Okay. He collects his thermos, his duffel. At the door, he pauses, looking back at me. Naomi? For what it's worth, I don't think you're cold. I think you're scared. His smile is gentle. And there's a difference. He's gone before I can respond, leaving me alone in the too bright kitchen with soap bubbles on the floor and the ghost of his kiss on my lips. I touch my mouth, still feeling the warmth of him. Still tasting coffee and something sweeter. Hope, maybe? Or possibility. This is a problem, I whisper to the empty room. But I'm smiling when I say it.
Chapter 6. Mason. I find Naomi at her usual corner table and novel sips, laptop open but untouched, staring out the window at the snow-dusted square. Not working? I set a fresh coffee in front of her. Andrew makes the best in town, and I made sure to get her the hazelnut latte she ordered last time. She looks up, surprised, then smiles. How did you? I pay attention. I slide into the seat across from her. And I wanted an excuse to see you. You don't need an excuse. Good to know. I sip my own coffee. Black, 2 sugars, just the way I like it. Though I do have a proposition. Should I be worried? Probably. I lean forward. Come with me. I want to show you something. She eyes me suspiciously. Is this another Christmas activity? It's a Mason activity. Which happens to take place in December. Totally different. That's a very fine distinction. Come on. I stand, offering my hand. Trust me? She looks at my hand, then at her abandoned laptop, then back at me. Something shifts in her expression, a decision being made. Okay, she says, taking my hand. But if this involves caroling, I'm out. No caroling. Scout's honor. Were you a scout? No, but the principle stands. 20 minutes later, we're pulled off onto a narrow forest road, parked in a small clearing with a view of the valley below. Snow blankets everything, pristine and untouched. This is beautiful, Naomi breathes, stepping out of the truck. It's my thinking spot. I join her at the edge of the clearing. When the workshop gets too noisy in my head, I come here. Does it get noisy often? More than I'd like. I watch the morning mist rise from the valley. Sometimes I get too focused on a project, too deep in my own head. This reminds me there's a bigger world out there. She's quiet for a moment. I used to have a spot like this. A coffee shop near my apartment with a window seat. I'd go there on Sunday mornings with the paper. Used to? I haven't been in over a year. Her voice is soft. Somewhere along the way, I forgot how to just be. Everything became productive or pointless. I pull 2 small blocks of basswood and a couple of knives from my pocket. Here. Learn something useless with me. She eyes the wood suspiciously. What am I supposed to do with that? Whittle. I hand her the knife handle first. Nothing fancy. Just make shapes. Let your hands do something while your brain rests. I'll probably cut myself. Probably. I position her fingers correctly on the knife. But that's part of learning. Here, hold it like this. Always cut away from yourself. For the next 30 minutes, I teach her the basics. How to read the grain, how to let the wood guide the knife, how to make long, smooth cuts instead of hacking away. She's terrible at it. Her little block looks more like a lumpy potato than anything recognizable, but she's also completely absorbed. This is actually kind of relaxing, she admits, brushing wood shavings off her lap. That's the point. Sometimes the best thing you can make is a mess. I show her my own piece. I've been carving while she worked, and a small bird is starting to emerge. The first 100 things you carve will be terrible. But somewhere around piece 101, something clicks. How many have you carved? Lost count years ago. I smooth the bird's wing with my thumb. Frank used to say that would keep score, not you. Every piece teaches you something if you listen. You really loved him. I did. The grief is gentler now, worn smooth by time like river stones. He saw something in me worth teaching. Gave me a chance when I was just an angry kid who didn't trust anyone. Sounds familiar. She glances at me, then back at her wood. The not trusting anyone part. Yeah. I shift closer, our shoulders touching. But you're getting better at it. Am I? You're here. Drinking coffee in the woods with a guy who keeps dragging you into his hobbies. I bump her shoulder gently. That's progress. She laughs, and the sound settles something in my chest that's been restless for days. We sit there in comfortable silence, carving and not carving, until Naomi's stomach growls loudly enough to startle a bird from a nearby branch. She laughs, embarrassed. Apparently I forgot to eat breakfast. That's a crime. I check my watch. It's past noon. Want to grab lunch at the Copper Kettle? I should probably get back to Xavier House. Jory mentioned something about fresh bread at lunch. She holds up her lumpy carved potato. Plus I need to find a place of honor for my masterpiece. That's definitely going on a shelf somewhere. Mock all you want. This is art. But she's smiling as she tucks it in her coat pocket. I stand, brushing wood shavings from my jeans and offering her a hand up. She takes it, and when I pull her up, she doesn't immediately let go. We stand there for a moment, close enough that I can see the darker blue flecks in her eyes. Mason? Yes? Thank you. For this. 4. She gestures vaguely. All of it. You don't have to thank me for wanting to spend time with you. Maybe I want to anyway. She's still holding my hand. I'm acutely aware of every point of contact. Her fingers threaded through mine, the way she's leaning slightly toward me, like gravity's pulling us together. I brush a piece of wood shaving from her hair. You've got sawdust everywhere. Occupational hazard, she echoes my words from weeks ago, smiling. It looks good on you. Liar. Truth teller. I let my hand linger near her face. Everything looks good on you. Her breath catches. For a heartbeat, I think she might kiss me again. But then she steps back, carefully casual. We should go. Right. I pocket my knife and wood, trying not to feel disappointed. Let's go. But as we drive back to town, her hand finds mine across the console, and suddenly I'm not disappointed at all. The 5 ornaments are taking shape on my workbench. There's a mug, a lantern, a snowflake, a star, and a heart. Each one small enough to fit in her palm, detailed enough to tell the story. I'm working on the lantern when I hear footsteps on the gravel outside. My heart jumps. Nobody just stops by the workshop unannounced except Mason? Naomi's voice carries through the door. Are you in there? I look at the ornaments spread across my bench, half-finished and utterly incriminating. No time to put them away properly. I grab a drop cloth and throw it over the workbench, catching the edge of a chisel that clatters to the floor. Yeah. Give me a second. I scoop up the chisel, shove a few stray wood shavings under the cloth, and try to look casual as I open the door. Naomi stands there in her wool coat, cheeks pink from the cold, holding a paper bag. I brought sandwiches from the copper kettle. Figured you might be working through lunch again. My chest does something complicated. You didn't have to do that. I know. But you fed me coffee and wisdom this morning. Seemed only fair. She peers past me into the workshop. Can I come in? It's freezing out here. Of course. Sorry. I step aside, ignoring the lumpy drop cloth covering my bench. She sets the bag on a clear space and looks around, taking in the half-finished projects, the tools, the sawdust covering everything. Her gaze lands on the covered workbench. What are you working on? Some stock pieces. Ornaments for next week's market. The lie tastes wrong in my mouth. Can I see? They're not ready yet. I move to stand between her and the bench, too quickly. Still rough. You know how it is. She tilts her head, studying me. Are you okay? You're being weird. I'm not being weird. You're absolutely being weird. She takes a step toward the bench. What's under there that you don't want me to? Turkey or ham? I grab the sandwich bag, desperate to redirect. Please tell me you got turkey. She stops, lets me change the subject, but there's a question in her eyes. Turkey for you, ham for me. And Sarah insisted on sending pie. Sarah's pie makes everything better. I pull out the sandwiches, my heart still racing. That was too close. We eat standing at one of my clear workbenches, and I try to act normal. But I can feel her watching me, see the little crease between her eyebrows that means she's thinking too hard. Mason? You know you can tell me things, right? She sets down her sandwich. If something's going on, or if you need space, or nothing's going on. I reach for her hand before I can stop myself. I promise. Just got caught up in my head about a project. But this, I gesture between us with our joined hands, this is good. Really good. The crease smooths out a little. Yeah? Yeah. I squeeze her fingers. Thank you for the sandwiches. And for checking on me. Even when I'm being weird. Especially when you're being weird. She squeezes back, then lets go to retrieve her sandwich. Someone has to keep you from turning into a hermit in your workshop. I'm not a hermit. When was the last time you got out? She asked. Aside from our walk in the woods? That's called dedication to my craft. That's called you need a shower. But she's smiling, and the suspicion has faded from her eyes. We finish lunch talking about nothing important. I mention the upcoming market, we discuss whether it'll snow again, and she's talking about her ongoing battle with Jory over accepting seconds at dinner. Normal, easy conversation. But when she leaves, pressing a quick kiss to my cheek that makes my heart stutter, I turn back to the covered workbench with a sigh. That was too close. I need to be more careful. I lift the cloth, examining the ornaments again. The mug is nearly done, the lantern half carved. The others are still rough shapes, waiting for detail. I pick up the heart. It's nothing more than a simple outline right now, nothing special. But when it's finished, sanded smooth and polished, it'll be perfect. Like her. My phone buzzes. A text from Jake. How's Operation Surprise going? Almost got caught. She brought me lunch. And you acted totally normal about it, I'm sure. Completely normal. Not weird at all. You're a terrible liar. Just finish the things and give them to her already. Christmas Eve. That's the plan. You sure you can keep this secret that long? I look at the ornaments, at the heart in my hand, at the cloth I'll have to keep throwing over everything whenever she's near. I have to, I text back. It has to be perfect. Because she deserves perfect. Deserves something that shows her exactly what these weeks have meant. What she means.
Chapter 7. Naomi. Christmas Eve in Juniper Falls is exactly what I expected. Too much, too bright, and too aggressively cheerful. The town square is packed with people bundled in scarves and mittens, their breath misting in the cold air. Vendor booths overflow with last-minute gifts. Children chase each other around the wishing tree, which has grown heavy with ornaments over the past weeks. Somewhere, someone is definitely singing carols. A month ago, I would have hated every second of this. Now, standing at the edge of the crowd with hot cider warming my hands, I feel something dangerously close to belonging. There you are. Jory appears at my elbow, her cheeks flushed with cold and excitement. I've been looking everywhere. The unveiling is about to start. Unveiling? Mason's star topper for the wishing tree. The whole town's been waiting to see it. She's already pulling me toward the center of the square. Come on, we need a good spot. My stomach flips. I saw the star weeks ago in his workshop. It was beautiful then, meaningful. But something about the way Jory says unveiling makes my palms sweat. The crowd gathers in a loose circle around the tree. Mason stands on a small platform beside it, the star carefully covered with a white cloth. He's in his good flannel, the dark green one that makes his eyes look almost hazel, and he's fidgeting with the cloth's edge. His eyes scan the crowd and find mine. His whole face lights up, and he mouths, "You came." Of course I came. I've seen him almost every day for the past week. That thought should comfort me. Instead, it sends panic skittering down my spine. Hazel steps up beside Mason, her voice carrying across the square. Thank you all for coming. As you know, our wonderful Mason Reed has been working on something special for our beloved wishing tree. A star topper to watch over all our hopes and dreams. Applause ripples through the crowd. Mason ducks his head, embarrassed by the attention. Mason, would you like to say a few words? Hazel asks. He clears his throat. Thank you. This town has given me so much. A home, a purpose, people who feel like family. The wishing tree represents all of that. Every hope we've dared to name, every dream we've trusted to the stars. His eyes find mine again. This past month especially has reminded me what this tradition means. How powerful it is when we're brave enough to wish for what we really want. My heart is pounding too hard. Something is wrong. Something about the way he's looking at me, the way Hazel is smiling, the way the whole town seems to be holding its breath. So without further ado, Mason says, gripping the cloth, I present the new wishing tree star. He pulls the cloth away, and the crowd gasps. The star is even more beautiful than I remember. The golden wood catches the market lights, the carved wishes flow across each point in elegant script. Hope. Love. Home. Peace. Belonging. But there's something on the sixth point now. Something that wasn't there before. Carved in the same flowing script as the others, surprise me. The crowd murmurs, charmed. Someone laughs. Hazel beams. And I feel like I'm going to be sick. Mason added a wish, Hazel announces to the crowd. A reminder that sometimes the best things in life are the ones we don't plan for. The surprises that change everything. People are nodding, smiling. A few look at me like they know. They all know it's my wish, my words, carved into wood and displayed for the whole town to see. Forever. That's so romantic, someone near me sighs. I can't breathe. I back away from the crowd, my cider cup slipping from my nerveless fingers and splashing into the snow. No one notices. They're all focused on Mason, on the star, and on a story they think they're watching unfold. I need to leave. Need to get back to Xavier House, back to my room, back to Naomi. Mason's pushing through the crowd toward me, his face bright with hope and pride. He thinks I'll be happy. He thinks this is a good surprise. He reaches me, slightly breathless. Did you see it? I added your wish. I wanted. Why would you do that? The words come out sharper than I intend. His smile falters. I thought you'd like it. Your wish inspired me. It reminded me that the best things. You took my wish and made it permanent. Put it on display up there for everyone to see forever. I'm backing away, and he's following, confusion clouding his features. Like some kind of declaration. I thought it was beautiful. Meaningful. That it represented something important about. About what? About us? My laugh is brittle. There is no us, Mason. I'm leaving after Christmas. I always was. I know that. But his face says he'd hoped otherwise. I just wanted you to know that this time mattered. That you mattered. By carving my throwaway joke into a monument? By making it look like I gesture helplessly at the star, at the crowd still admiring it. Like I'm part of this town's story? Like I belong here? You do belong here. His voice is quiet, urgent. Or you could, if you wanted to. But I don't want to. The lie tastes bitter, but I force it out anyway. Don't you get it? This whole thing, I gesture wildly between us, at the star, at the town square, it was supposed to be temporary. A break from my real life. Your real life. He says it flat, emotionless. Right. Yes. My real life. My career, my apartment, I'm spiraling now, panic making me cruel. This was just a project for you, wasn't it? Fix the broken city girl. Teach her to believe in Christmas magic. What? No. He reaches for me and I step back. Naomi, that's not what this is. Isn't it? And suddenly all the fear, all the doubt I've been pushing down for weeks comes flooding out. You challenged me to make a wish. You've been showing up everywhere. The inn, the market, your workshop. You've been teaching me to carve and showing me your special spots, and because I like you. His voice rises with frustration. Because I wanted to spend time with you. Because this past month has been a project. The word lands like a stone. I've been a project. Fix the Grinch. Teach her to believe. Make her into someone who fits in your perfect small-town Christmas fantasy. That's not fair. His voice is quiet now, hurt. You know that's not what this is. Do I? I wrap my arms around myself, suddenly freezing. Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you've been orchestrating everything. The cocoa tastings, the workshop visits, even that day in the forest. Was any of it real? Or was it all just part of your plan to surprise me? The forest was real. The kiss was real. He steps closer, desperation in his eyes. Naomi, everything between us is real. I didn't put your wish on the star to claim you or embarrass you. I did it because it changed me. Because you changed me. I didn't ask to change you. My voice cracks. I didn't ask for any of this. I came here to hide, Mason. To sleep through Christmas and go back to my life. I never planned. I stop, the truth sitting heavy in my throat. You never planned to stay, he finishes quietly. The silence between us is deafening. Around us, the market continues. The laughter, the music, the warm glow of twinkle lights. But here, in our bubble of hurt and misunderstanding, everything feels cold. I have a life in Charlotte, I say finally. A career. An apartment. A whole existence that's waiting for me. And what? This was just a vacation? A fun distraction before you go back to being miserable? I'm not, but I stop, because that's not fair either. I don't know what this was. I just know it's moving too fast. I press my hands to my face. I can't do this. I can't be someone's Christmas miracle. I never asked you to be a miracle. His voice is rough. I just asked you to be here. With me. To give us, a real chance. For how long? A week? A month? Until the holidays are over and reality comes back? I drop my hands, forcing myself to meet his eyes. I don't belong here, Mason. This isn't my world. It never was. Something shudders in his expression. Right. Because Juniper Falls is just a charming small town full of simple people who believe in fairy tales. That's not what I meant. Isn't it? Now there's an edge to his voice. You've been looking down on this place since you arrived. The decorations were too much, the traditions were silly, the people were too friendly. How dare we actually believe that good things can happen if we're brave enough to hope for them? I never. You did. You do. He runs a hand through his hair, frustrated. And I was foolish enough to think that I could help you see what I see. That this town, these people, this life is not less than yours, Naomi. It's just different. Tears are burning my eyes now. I need to go. Of course you do. The resignation in his voice breaks something in me. Because that's what you do, right? When things get hard, when someone gets too close, you run. That's not. Have a safe trip back to Charlotte. He's already backing away, and the finality in his voice cuts deeper than anger would. His jaw tightens. I hope your real life is everything you need it to be. Mason, wait. But he's gone, disappearing into the crowd, leaving me standing alone in the snow with my panic and my fear and the bitter taste of words I can't take back. Around me, the market continues like nothing happened. The star glows above the tree, my wish carved into it for everyone to see. Surprise me. I got what I asked for. I just didn't expect it to hurt this much.
Chapter 8. Mason. Christmas morning arrives cold and gray, matching my mood perfectly. I haven't slept. Every time I close my eyes, I see her face. The panic, the hurt, the way she looked at me like I'd betrayed her. Like everything we shared was a lie. The workshop is freezing. I didn't bother with the heaters last night, just worked through the cold and the dark until my hands were numb and the 5 ornaments were finally, perfectly finished. They sit on my workbench now, lined up like accusations. A mug. A lantern. A snowflake. A star. A heart. Proof of what could have been. Proof of that I was wrong. I pick up the heart, turning it over in my palm. It's the smallest of the 5, carved from cherry wood that's aged to a deep red. I spent hours on the grain, making sure it flowed like a real heartbeat, like something alive. I should throw them away. Burn them. Turn them into sawdust and forget I ever thought carving my feelings into it was a good idea. Instead, I set the Hart down carefully and reach for the mug. It's maple, smooth and warm-toned, with steam carved in delicate whorls rising from the rim. I can still see her in Jory's kitchen that first cocoa night, trying so hard to be unimpressed while clearly enjoying every sip. The way she tried to hide her smile when Hazel maneuvered us into sitting together. The lantern is next. It's pine, with tiny cutouts that would cast patterns if you held it to the light. The night of the storm. Her confession about Jeremy, about her family, about Christmas becoming just another performance. The way she kissed me in the kitchen like she was surprised to find herself wanting to. The snowflake is basswood, intricate and delicate. Her first attempt at whittling, that morning in the forest when she forgot to check her phone for hours. The way she fit against my side, comfortable and right. The star is last. Made from oak, because it needed to be strong. Her wish, the one she made as a joke but that changed everything. Surprise me. And I did. Just not in the way either of us expected. I lined them up again, this perfect set of memories carved in wood. Evidence of a month that mattered. Of something real. She thinks I was fixing her. Making her into a project. But that's not what this was. Not even close. I was falling in love with her. The thought sits heavy in my chest. I haven't let myself say it, even in my own head, but it's been true for weeks. Maybe since that first day in the square when she scowled at my Christmas cheer and I couldn't stop smiling. I fell in love with her sharp wit and her stubborn walls. With the way she helped that little girl fix her bird without thinking twice. With how she looked at my work like it mattered, like I mattered. With the softness underneath all that armor, the part of her that still believed in magic even when she was trying so hard not to. And I ruined it by putting her wish on display without asking. I dropped my head into my hands, exhaustion and regret washing over me. She was right about one thing. I wasn't thinking about how public it would feel. I was so caught up in my own feelings, in wanting to honor what she'd given me, that I didn't consider how exposed it would make her feel. How permanent. How much like a claim. My phone buzzes. A text from Jake, Merry Christmas. Hannah's making her famous cinnamon rolls. You coming over? I stare at the text. The Merricks have been inviting me to their family Christmases for a while. It's become tradition. Their way of making sure I'm not alone on the holiday. Not sure I'm good company today. That's when you need family most. What happened? Long story. Mess things up with Naomi. 3 dots appear, then, so fix it. Come over anyway. Or I'm sending Hannah to get you. Despite everything, I smile. Hannah Merrick showing up at my door is not an idle threat. Maybe later. There's something I need to do first. Then go do it. And Mason? Whatever happened, if she matters, fight for it. I look at the ornaments again. At the evidence of every moment that mattered, carved and sanded and polished until they shine. Jake's right. I can't let her leave thinking last night was the truth. That this past month was anything other than what it really was. 2 broken people finding something whole together. Even if she still goes back to Charlotte. Even if she can't forgive me for the star. She deserves to know. I find a small wooden box in my supply cabinet and line it with soft cloth. One by one, I nestle the ornaments inside, arranging them so they won't knock against each other. My hands are shaking. This might not work. She might take the box and leave anyway. Might thank me politely and walk out of my life forever. But I have to try. I close the box, tuck it under my arm, and head out into the cold Christmas morning. The drive to Xavier House takes 5 minutes but feels like 5 hours. Jory answers the door in her bathrobe, flower on her cheek. Mason! Mary, she stops, taking in my expression. Oh, honey. Come in. Is she still here? Upstairs. Packing. Jory's face is sympathetic. I tried to talk to her, but she's pretty set on leaving this morning. My heart sinks. Can I? Go! She steps aside. Rose room, second floor, end of the hall. I take the stairs 2 at a time, the box clutched against my chest like a shield. Her door is half open. I can see her inside, moving between the bed and her suitcase with mechanical efficiency. Her hair is pulled back, no makeup, wearing leggings and an oversized sweater. She looks small and tired and sad. I knock softly on the doorframe. She spins around, eyes wide. Mason. Hi. My voice comes out rough. Can I come in? She hesitates, then nods. I step inside, and the door clicks shut behind me. The room suddenly feels very small. I'm sorry, we both say at the same time. That startles a laugh out of her. It's small and watery, but real. You first, she says. I shake my head. Ladies first. She sits on the edge of the bed, hands twisted in her lap. I shouldn't have said what I said last night. About you making me a project. That was cruel and unfair, and her voice cracks. I was scared and I lashed out, and I'm sorry. You were right about one thing. I stay by the door, needing the distance. I should have asked before putting your wish on the star. I got caught up in my own feelings and didn't think about how public it would make you feel. How exposed. That was wrong. It wasn't wrong. She stops, struggling for words. It was permanent. And I'm not. I know. And I do. I've always known she was leaving. I just hoped. I stop that thought before it can finish. I brought you something. I hold out the box. I made these before last night. Before everything fell apart. I want you to have them anyway. So you know it was real. All of it was real. She takes the box with trembling hands and opens it slowly. I watch her face as she sees them. The way her expression crumples, tears spilling over. Mason. It's barely a whisper. The mug is from Coco Night, I say, my throat tight. When Hazel ambushed us and I couldn't stop looking at you across the table. She lifts it out carefully, running her thumb over the carved steam. The lantern is from the storm. When you told me about Jeremy and your family, and I wanted to wrap you up and keep you safe from everything that ever hurt you. She's crying openly now, but she picks up the lantern anyway. The snowflake is from the forest. Her hand hovers over the snowflake, shaking. The star is your wish. The one that changed everything. She sets down the snowflake and picks up the star, holding it to the light from the window. And the heart. My voice breaks. The heart is what I feel for you. What I've been feeling for weeks but didn't know how to say. She looks up at me, mascara streaked, completely undone. You love me. It's not a question, but I answer anyway. I do. I'm a mess. She's still crying. I'm scared and broken, and I don't know how to do this. How to trust that good things can actually happen. How to believe that. You don't have to believe all at once, I say, finally crossing the room to kneel in front of her. You just have to believe enough for today. For this moment. She cups my face with both hands, the star still clutched in one palm. I'm terrified of wanting this. Of wanting you. Because what if I mess it up? What if I turn back into that person who can't see past her phone, who values work over people? Then we figure it out together. I cover her hands with mine. Naomi, you're not that person anymore. You haven't been since you got here. And even if you slip back sometimes, so what? We all slip. That's what people who love each other do. They catch each other. People who love each other, she repeats softly. Yeah. I lean my forehead against hers. Naomi Blake, I am completely in love with you. I love your sharp edges and your soft center. I love the way you pretend not to care about things you desperately care about. I love how you help that little girl without thinking twice. She kisses me. It's not like the kitchen kiss. This isn't tentative and surprised. This is sure. Certain. It's a choice she's making with her eyes wide open. I love you too, she whispers against my mouth. I'm terrified and I have no idea how to make this work, but I love you and I don't want to leave. Then don't. It's not that simple. I have an apartment, a lease, possibly still a job. So keep the apartment. Come back when you need to. We'll figure it out. I pull back enough to see her face. I'm not asking you to give up your whole life. I'm just asking you to make room in it for this. For the possibility that good things can happen if we're brave enough to hope for them. She laughs through her tears. Did you just quote yourself from last night? I'm recycling my best material. It's good material. She kisses me again, softer this time. Okay. Okay? Okay, I'll stay. For now. We'll figure out the rest as we go. She pulls back, studying my face like she's memorizing it. Then she wraps her arms around my neck, and I hold her close, feeling her heartbeat against mine. Outside, snow begins to fall in fat, lazy flakes. Church bells ring in the distance. Somewhere downstairs, Jory is probably stress baking enough food to feed half the town. And here, in this room full of half-packed suitcases and handmade ornaments, two scared people choose to be brave. Merry Christmas, Naomi. She smiles against my shoulder. Merry Christmas. It's not perfect. We still have things to figure out. But that's okay. Because sometimes the best surprises aren't the ones that go according to plan. They're the ones that teach us to hope again.
Epilogue. Naomi. Juniper Falls, 1 year later. The Christmas market looks exactly the same as it did last year. Twinkle lights are strung between booths, the scent of roasting chestnuts and hot cider is in the air, and children are racing around the wishing tree with sticky fingers and bright laughter. But everything is different. You're smiling, Mason says, squeezing my hand. At Christmas decorations. Without anyone forcing you. I'm allowed to evolve. I bump his shoulder with mine. Besides, these decorations are objectively excellent. That's my girl. He pulls me closer as we walk through the crowd, and I lean into his warmth. My girl. A year ago, those words would have sent me running. Now they feel like coming home. The past year hasn't been perfect. We've had hard conversations about logistics and compromise. I kept my apartment in Charlotte for the first 6 months, splitting my time between the city and Juniper Falls until I finally admitted what my heart already knew. This town, these people, this man, they're where I belong. I still consult, but only part-time now, taking on projects I actually care about instead of grinding myself into dust for clients who don't value me. I work from the sunroom at Xavier House most days, or sometimes from Mason's workshop when I want company and the smell of sawdust. My family is still complicated. But Mom came to visit in October, and we managed 3 whole days without a fight. Dad and I are talking again, slowly rebuilding what broke. It's not the Christmas magic I had as a kid, but it's something real. Something honest. And that's better. There's Hazel, Mason says, nodding toward the cookie booth where Hazel is holding court, her silver hair catching the market lights. She spots us and waves, that knowing smile firmly in place. Naomi dear. Mason. Don't you two look cozy? We're disgustingly happy, I admit. It's nauseating. It's wonderful. She presses her famous snickerdoodle cookies into our hands. Now go hang your ornament before the tree gets too crowded. My heart does a little flip. The ornament. Mason's been working on it for weeks, keeping it covered in his workshop, refusing to let me see it until tonight. All I know is that it's for both of us. We make our way to the wishing tree, which has grown even more magnificent this year. The star Mason made, with my wish carved into it, glows at the top, and I don't feel panic when I see it anymore. Just gratitude. He pulls a small cloth-wrapped bundle from his coat pocket. Ready? I've been ready for weeks. You're the one being mysterious. I wanted it to be perfect. He unwraps the cloth carefully, and my breath catches. It's a wooden heart, split down the middle but joined with delicate inlay work, Maple on one side, cherry on the other. Two different woods, two different grains, fitted together so seamlessly you'd think they grew that way. It's us, he says quietly. Different, but better together. My eyes burn. Mason. There's more. He turns it over, showing me the carved words on the back. Home is wherever we're together. My wish for us. I'm definitely crying now. It's perfect. You're perfect. He kisses my forehead, then hands me the ornament. Want to find it a spot? We circle the tree, looking for the right branch. I choose one near the middle. Not hidden, but not showy either. Just right. As I'm reaching up to hang it, Mason catches my other hand. Wait. There's one more thing. I turn, and my heart stops. He's kneeling in the snow. Mason. Let me get this out before I forget the words I practiced. His smile is nervous, beautiful. Naomi Blake, a year ago you showed up in this town determined to hate every second of Christmas. You scowled at my decorations and rolled your eyes at the wishing tree and made it very clear you did not believe in magic. I laughed through my tears. I was a delight. You were terrifying. He squeezes my hand. And I fell in love with you anyway. Maybe because of it. You challenged me, pushed me, made me see that love isn't about fixing someone or making them fit into your world. It's about building a new world together. He pulls a small velvet box from his pocket, and I genuinely cannot breathe. I found this at Lockwood Antiques 3 months ago. Marin told me it's from the 1920s. Art Deco. It belonged to a woman who ran a bookshop in Asheville. He opens the box, revealing a stunning ring with a geometric setting, a small diamond flanked by sapphires. The moment I saw it, I knew it was yours. Something with history, something unique, something that catches the light just right. He looks up at me, and his eyes are bright with emotion. Naomi Blake, you were my Christmas surprise. The wish I didn't know I was making. Will you marry me? Will you keep building this life with me? Will you? Yes. I drop to my knees in the snow, not caring about my nice coat or the crowd forming around us. Yes, yes, absolutely yes. He slides the ring onto my finger, a perfect fit, like it was always meant to be there, and kisses me while the market erupts in applause. When we finally break apart, Hazel is dabbing at her eyes with a handkerchief. Just a snowflake, she says loudly. Nothing to see here. You knew, I accuse, laughing. I know many things, dear. She beams at us. But I'm especially good at knowing when two people are meant to be. Mason stands, pulling me up with him, and we finish hanging our ornament together. The split heart catches the light from the star above, two different woods joined into something whole. What do you think? Mason asks, his arm around my waist. Good spot? I look at the tree with all the wishes hanging from its branches, at the star glowing above with surprise me carved into it, and at our new ornament joining the collection. Then I look at Mason, at the man who taught me to believe again. In magic, in love, in the possibility that good things can happen if you're brave enough to hope for them. It's perfect, I say, and I mean it. Everything is perfect. He kisses my temple. Merry Christmas, future Mrs. Reed. Merry Christmas, Mr. Reed. Around us, the market glows with warmth and light. Children laugh, couples dance, and somewhere someone starts singing carols. The wishing tree stands tall in the center of it all, holding hopes and dreams and promises for the future. And for the first time in years, I'm not running from Christmas. I'm running toward it. Toward home. Toward love. Toward a future I never expected to want but now can't imagine living without. I lean into Mason's warmth and smile up at the star. Surprise me, I'd written, never imagining what that wish would bring. It brought me everything. The end. This has been Wish Upon a Christmas Star. Written by Susanne Ash. Copyright 2025 by Susanne Ash. Production copyright 2025 by Susanne Ash. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe if you want me to put more of my books on YouTube. Visit my website at www.susanneash.com for more of my books or find me on Amazon.